All right, let's zoom in. Nah, we don't gotta zoom in. All right, guys, welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. I just kind of made an intro, kind of keep it as we go, but the real reason like why I came up here. So I've been making YouTube videos all this year, uh, just kind of keeping myself more accountable and making sure I'm posting up on YouTube videos and following my dream. So this video is mainly going to be about like manifesting dreams and like why you feel like you can't fucking be somewhere when you can't you're not there in your reality. Like I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm so mentally like like I'm so driven and mentally like I can picture where I want to be so vividly. I can picture everything. And it's hard for people to even picture where they fucking want to be if you grow up in a town that looks like this. Nothing against the people that live here, but I've grown up here pretty much the 23 years that I've been living on this planet Earth, and a lot of the stuff I say can be very immature because I ate my first steak at fucking like 20 years old, like 3-4 years ago. I had like my first ribeye juicy steak, and to a lot of people, I can come off as like immature, which is fucking normal because I am still experimenting a lot of things in life that I haven't, that a lot of people that I've gone through. So when you hear me like say some stuff that like really doesn't seem that impressive because I celebrate damn near every fucking win that I have in my life, it's because you probably already lived it and it didn't mean anything to you. I made my first $100,000 last year. That might not mean shit to anybody that works in the oil fields because that's easy to hit. You know what I mean? Especially if you've been there for 10, 15, 20 years. Even people that have been there 10, 15, 20 years, sometimes it can be hard. You know, there's a bunch of setbacks in your life or fucking disbeliefs that you have that might not get you to where you want to be. But I remember being a kid, $100,000 what is fucking unbelievable. If my mom made $100,000 with taking care of us 4 kids rather than working at a liquor store, our lives would be fucking changed. Does that make sense to you? I'm 23 years old now. I made my first 100,000 last year. Money's irrelevant. Money's fucking, I can wipe this shit with my ass. It doesn't mean anything, but it's the person that I became to make that $100,000 trips me the fuck out. My neighbor next door made, probably made $100,000 whenever I was a kid and my mom was working at the liquor store. To me, I'm wondering how the fuck did I even do this shit? How did I do it? Where did my money go? Why did I invest it? What did I do? Who did I become? Like the person, even if I'm pushing a broom, even if I'm picking up trash at work, like who did I become in the process of doing all that shit? Because I was obviously worthy enough to make 100,000. You don't just get 100,000 in 1 year because you fucking cause boom, you fucking want it. No, that doesn't happen. You have to be like a person worth 100,000. And last year, I mean, was my year to make that. And now I'm just so not confused, but I'm just analyzing, going through the analytics like a fucking book and taking notes because there's data there. How did I do it? What did I do? Who did I become? And I don't think a lot of people do this. And I'm mind shocked. It blows my mind, especially that I don't have any of it. And that's the normal thing that normal people do. They normally make $100,000 a year and they don't have any, especially a kid that's young, degenerate, you know what I mean? Going out all the time. Like, of course I wasn't gonna fucking save any of it. Like the bike. This is a good example. I watched a video on a guy saying if I was to give you the keys to this bike, right? You would fucking lose it. You would take this thing to the fucking bar. You would fucking probably get drunk. You'd probably crash this thing. Like, I took this to the bar one time, and I just showed a friend. Other than that, I haven't took it. I had one beer. I watched the Jake Paul fight, and that was it. That's literally it. I just showed one friend, and I think like if I was to continuously keep going to the bar like I was last year, if I was to continuously doing these things that I know that I was doing, and how do I know? Because I've been filming myself, my mindset, my seasons of life. This is where it comes back to like, it's not bad to film yourself because you can go back and analyze the different mindsets you have, the different perspectives you had, during those seasons in your life. Like right now, yesterday and the day before, I smoked weed, and this is like my biggest struggle right now. Is just smoking weed because like the day starts to kind of die down. You kind of want to not treat yourself, but like kind of like relax. your body hurts. I'm, doing physical demanding jobs. It doesn't take a lot of critical thinking for me to put hole in a dirt. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fucking take a hit of the joint because I don't really gotta fucking think. My day just kind of goes, and I'm okay with it. But when I'm like trying to make videos and be creative and try to like inspire people, I can't be smoking weed. I can't. It doesn't line up with the Kyle that wants to be where he wants to be. And it's so crazy because when I do film myself and I see different, seasons of my videos and where I was at in my life, I can see I'm not quite I've found the higher self of myself, but I haven't quite stayed consistent with it to see like a result. Okay? And I am okay with doing stuff without getting a result. I will do it for free. I will do it the rest of my life for free if that's the case. Because I genuinely want to know who the fuck Kyle Chavez is and how he's getting to where he wants to be. Because this shit, it's luck. It's pure fucking luck. But at least put yourself in a position where you can get fucking lucky and not hope the fucking universe is gonna bring you something from higher up and fucking give it to you in your hands because you're not well deserved of it. Because you need to work yourself to that point. You don't see me fucking clubbing and taking my Harley out because that's not the responsible thing to do. That's an immature act of, you know, any immature person would do. I can't be doing those things if that makes sense. And you know, I'm just I've seen this my whole life, right? I've seen this town. I've ridden my BMX bike up here. I've seen this stuff. Like I said, like I have no shame to anybody. But I've never really even seen anyone come out of this motherfucker like, hey, you know that guy? You know what I mean? Like recent. Like, oh, those guys? Like that guy, he fucking made it out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna fucking, you look up this town, my name is on fucking YouTube because I was a kid making YouTube videos. I just wanted to make videos as a kid. I liked mixing the videos. I liked mixing, I got to a point where I thought I was gonna be a rapper, dude. And I literally remember watching a video of a guy saying this, and I was helping a friend of mine trying to be a rapper, but like it was just like I didn't realize like how the influence was bad on me. Like smoking, like anybody walked by their house, the block, like it was always like, 10 toes, like just tripping on people. And I'm like, I gotta like, you know, execute myself from that area. And I've solely found out, people are like, where do I start? Where do I start? I don't get scared anymore of like, hey, where do I start? Because I know to start with self-development. And you might be like, what's self-development? Go fucking sit in a room by yourself for fucking hours, cry yourself to fucking sleep, read a fucking book. I can hardly fucking read, guys, and I'm always trying to read self-help books. I am such a bad learner. When it came to school, I'm like, if I had straight F's and only an A in PE, I was literally in fucking special ed class, like modified classes. Up until I was high school, that's when I first started fucking moving like classes around, like 6th through 7th period. Like whenever I was in, elementary school, I didn't do that. I stayed in 2 classes. I was just exposed and always with, kids that were in modified classes, and that's where I fucking fell into. And um it was bad on me, dude. It was fucking terrible because like I only think of that kid. The kid that struggled in school, the kid that would hide under his desk because a general ed kid would fucking walk in there to drop off like the daily news. I would hide under tables because I knew I was around these kids, and no shame to those kids. Those kids were my friends. Those were my people, you know what I mean? But I knew I was different. They're always saying like I knew I was different from a young age. Like I wasn't I knew I was different because like the school part, but I knew I was just like everybody else because like I thought like them, or I tried to think like them, or I dressed like them, and I would do the things that they would do, and I wouldn't be really considered one of like the mean kids now would say like special ed kid. I did get called that shit. That shit would trigger me. Anyone call me stupid special ed or stupid RSP, retarded stupid people, I would fucking flip. Not like more, I would flip more to myself. Like I would take it in. I wasn't a violent kid. I wouldn't like express it, but I would like soak that shit in. And now that I'm older, like my my biggest challenges were just being in school. And I was in high school, what, 5 years ago. Not until I got to high school and I started kind of like not really giving a fuck, but I did give a fuck what people said. I just kind of like, I guess what, I made it easy. Like, so like I cheated my way to high school. I cheated all through school. And then I knew that I couldn't cheat in life, but I knew that I was always wondering, like, how do I make money? So I got my first job at like 15 years old, and then like I was just so like consistent with it, and enough, and being consistent. I didn't know what consistent was as a kid. Like, I rode BMX bikes, and I didn't know how I got good. I was just so passionate about something that I just got good at it. But guess what? I was consistent with it. And if you were to tell me, hey, you're so consistent with BMX, like, I probably wouldn't even know what the word consistent meant then. Now that I'm realizing, like, you have to do something, like a consistent amount of times, and just keep doing it and staying consistent and staying disciplined with it and just do it and show up every fucking day, you're gonna get good at it. You're gonna get good at it. Like, I'm talking to this camera right now. It can be so difficult for people to talk to a camera, but I've been making YouTube videos on and off, or just YouTube videos, for the last 9 to 10 years. So of course it's going to be a little bit more natural to me. I'm not the most well-spoken, I don't know what every fucking word means. I'm really bad at that. But I know how to like fucking just do something after time after time, and eventually it's just like a part of you. Sometimes you do stuff so fucking much that it feels like you live in a world that you've already done it. When I did concrete and asphalt, it took me fucking 6 months to be with people that did this shit for 25, 30 years, for them to be like, I don't have to tell you anything anymore, because I felt like I lived in a fucking different life. Like, it's so fucking crazy. The world is crazy. It can be so crazy to like think of like what you've done, and then it can be so stressful and crazy because you can think of like, you can be at your mom's house and then think like nothing's happening and you got no motion, and like it's fucking just down bad shitty, and you're just making videos for what? For who and for what? I woke up this morning and I'm like, I have data to analyze. All my videos, I can look back and see the different mindsets and see the different person I was. Maybe I was degenerate, spending a lot of money around this time. It was, it's just showing a version of like an older, mature version now, Kyle now, that like, hey, if you keep doing those things for the next 5 years, you're gonna be here. You're gonna be here. You're gonna be in the same spot. So what do you have to do to change? You got to do everything the very opposite of what you did last year. So if you're fucking up, if you're cheating on your girlfriend, if you're drinking too much, if you're smoking weed, if you're gambling, doing pills, if you're just fucking up, not going to work, not making money, not even reading like a book or trying to do something with your life, you have to do everything the very opposite of what that person did in order to be like that fucking higher frequency version of yourself. This is what I'm finding out about myself. I'm not going out all year. I've made bullshit videos about like, hey, I'm locking in this and that. And that was just to get my feet into the door in social media, because I didn't know what it was coming back a year and a half, 2 years ago. So like now I'm like, you got to go through shit. I had to be fucking fired from my job right down the street. You know what I mean? For making videos and talking shit about my job. I had to get fired. I had to be negative dollars in my bank account when fucking food needed to be on the table and bills needed to be paid. I couldn't run my unemployment because I got penalized. These are like, I had to do that to be like the person I am today. I had to be number 93 on the list all the way to number 1, and feel that pain, but I still made videos. I went through the process, still made videos every day. I didn't know no one liked me. I felt like the world was crushing down on me. And guess what? I got back up harder. The next year I made $100,000, and I fucking can't even tell you how. I just showed up, time for money, and I just fucking was ruthless. So I'm so fucking like, I'm so fucking like eager to meet the person that I will be one day. And it's literally here. 95% mindset. Vincent Fisher told me this. 95% mindset, 5% strategy. Like, the simplest things can be the hardest things to accomplish. And I'm just realizing that by like talking to like people that are my family. Like, I'm like, dude, everything sounds so fucking simple. Everyone puts everything, like all these guys, all these fucking Bob Proctor, all these like philosophy guys, and all these VHS tapes that I watch that are just like super old videos that talk about self-improvement and just self-development. and just being an overall, finding that higher frequency, because we're all born with the same shit. And I'm gonna be delusional, whatever you call it. I'm gonna be delusional. I'm gonna be fucked in the head until I fucking get there. And then you're gonna be like, well, then how does that fulfill you? How are you gonna be peaceful? I'm gonna cry when I get there. I'm gonna look back at these videos when I get there. And I just want, like, anyone that's like, fuck it, if you're in Kern County and it's fucking, shit's hard. I'm not a tough guy, you know what I mean? I'm not over here like, never really, no, not a whole lot of gang stuff over here where I live. I never, like, we thought we were hard because we smoked weed a little bit. My friends sold drugs in high school, maybe they had a gun or two, but that's like the beginning of it. But I've never been really into that kind of stuff, so I couldn't speak on anybody there. But like, for sure, the music I listened to as a kid growing up, we thought we were kind of hard, you know what I mean? Like the cool kids, which were really the fucking losers, if you were to think about it, like an adult, like waving around a gun on Snapchat with like a bunch of drugs, whatever. Like, that shit's a loser ass shit. I don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? And I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck. You're a straight loser. But it's just crazy because a lot of my experiences are coming just from the last 5 years, and then everything was like, high school, elementary, and then just like a toddler, like a kid, So this is your sign, 2026. If you're 23 years old, you're going to be 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. In the next 5 years, if you continue doing the same shit you've been doing the last 5 years, coming right out of high school, there's more than likely a 95% chance that you will continue doing those things. And I'm here to fucking break the curse. It's not a curse. It's just, a multitude of habits that I have, which is called a paradigm. If you don't know what a fucking paradigm is, look it up. You were probably programmed by somebody else, which sounds crazy. Look it up. You were probably programmed by somebody else from the way they lived. You can undo that. This doesn't have to be reality. Okay? Thank you for watching. I fucking love you guys.